Oh, cool. All right. Well, hey, we are Facebook Live now with, now this guy he's already my hero because interviewed 4,000 top leaders on expanding the comfort zone. I feel like Wayne and Garth. You know where I'm going with this. You feel, come on, Talk Universe. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. That's what I feel like right now with the old Wayne's World show when they were in the presence of Alice Cooper or whoever, Ozzy, whoever their metal god of metal was, okay? I have interviewed maybe at this point, a lot of people don't know because we're only at 135 dropping today. I've interviewed well over 200 people at this point, but that is a mere, what is that, 5%, sir, of what you have been doing all this time? But, it's all good.
You will catch me. I'm confident that you'll catch me and surpass me.
But it's not about that. It's about putting Talk Universe first, you guys. We're not chintzing any of the quality. They're going to have high quality, but there is a lot we can do. So I'm having fun talking to Corey right now. If you are part of Corey's fan club, which I already am, okay, so I'm part of the fan club already. I will probably lead the way. I am leading the way because I'm broadcasting this live right now. So Talk Universe and Corey Universe, I'm leading the way, but I want you to exercise your little finger over the share button and help Corey spread his message of expanding your comfort zone and blasting that thing away and crushing your fears. And it starts with just doing this with your finger over the share button, right, Corey?
Yeah, it's easy. It's not like we're asking a person to carry potato bags for 3 hours.
Not really. Now, here's what I'm going to ask Corey to do any longer because it looks like I'm trying to do some kind of insecurity thing in the split screen. Corey can't see this. You're just a little lower than me. So am
I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can't have that because I should be the one. Okay? I should be the one. Creeping. I should be the one creeping my split screen a little lower here for this. So I just want to now, especially when I have a woman on, when we're talking about sensitive issues related to, all of the horrible exposures of the day and everything else that's going on. I always say that to the women I interview because I don't ever want to be like looking like I'm talking down to other guests who happen to be not men on a show in which we're deconstructing TEDx and other, branded talks. So anyway, that also goes with people, really all my guests, but especially people who have interviewed 4,000 guests. Okay. I'm getting a little, this is starting to turn into the Chris Farley show instead of, be the talk show here, but having a little bit of fun.
Still on, by the way.
What's that?
I thought the Chris Farley show on SNL was underrated. Just as a side note, I think they should have done something with that as a full-time show. But I
think it turned into something called What Up With That.
Oh, yes.
I think it morphed into something infinitely more horrible and wonderful. With what's that guy's name? Jason Sudeikis doing his little dancing in the Speedo 1981 red striped Speedo shoot that gets me literally rolling on the floor every single time. All right. Well, hey, well, I don't usually engage with this much pleasantries, but the fact of the matter is I've got Corey all lined up here. I've had him lined up in the spreadsheet. I am ready to go. I practiced his bio. I know how to say his last name as well as he does, and we're pretty much ready to rock. Anything before we hit the record button here, Corey?
Nah.
All right.
Let's make the magic happen.
Let's make the magic happen in 3, 2. We are live with Corey Poirier. Corey, are you ready to talk? Corey, are you ready to talk? But I can't hear you anymore. Corey, you there? Did I mute you? Something is...
I can hear you, Nathan, but it's picking up.
Oh, okay. I can hear you again. Am I slowing down? That's a funny timing for this to be going on. All right, we got that fun little look that shows up when we're having bandwidth issues, I think. Corey, 1, 2, 3. Let me know when when I've slowed down. Let me know when this catches up. I may just call you back on Skype, and hopefully we get a better, fresh connection right there.
All right.
Work for you? Yeah, I'm going to call you right back on Skype here. All right, Talk Universe, man. Skype is unbelievable sometime. That has never happened, ever happened before. Oh my word, what a funny thing. Yeah, I hope we get Corey back here. This is going to be an interesting Facebook Live, you guys. All right. All right. Well, hey, that has never happened before where a guest has left me hanging when I said, "Are you ready to talk?" And I'm like, is he playing? Is this a test? Is this a Jedi test? It is a test.
It was all a plan. No, all I heard is something. I heard talk.
I'm sure it was a Jedi test.
Yeah.
I was trying to stay in not break the character. All right. I am resetting the recorder here.
Okay. So are we still on Facebook Live or?
Yeah, we're still on the Facebook Live.
Right.
So I mean, Talk Universe has been watching me, my decorum, they'll be able to tell you Scout's honor if I was freaking out or not. I don't think I was freaking out. I was just like, is this a test of whether I'm Gandalf the Gray or Gandalf the blue belt or Gandalf the brown belt or what? I don't know what this is. Maybe it's just Skype.
I'll cross my fingers that we got it all straight now.
I hope so. All right. Talk Universe, pull for us here. Okay. Not every day. Oh, I got a thumbs up. Whoever that was, I appreciate that thumb up. Not every day you get to interview somebody that's interviewed 4,000 other people and try to keep your cool. So it's all good. All right. We're going to take live, Be the Talk, take 2 live in 3, 2. We are live with Corey Poirier. Corey, are you ready to talk?
I sure am.
Corey Poirier is a multiple-time TEDx speaker and founder of the Speaking Program. A columnist with Entrepreneur and Forbes, he is one of the few leaders featured twice on the popular podcast Entrepreneur on Fire. Corey has also interviewed over 4,000 of the world's top leaders. Corey Poirier, welcome to the talk.
Thank you so much, Nathan. I've been super excited about this for a couple of days now. So yeah, let's make some stuff happen.
Your recent talk is called How People Crush Fears and Expand Comfort Zone. You bring us into your beginnings right there with maybe not necessarily as a contemporary of Jerry Seinfeld and many other comics, but you went to a stand-up comedy club. You bombed, you recovered, and you went on and you interviewed more leaders by the thousands on how to expand their comfort zones. So I'd love for you to take us behind the talk, Corey.
Yeah, so I guess on one end I should mention too, in almost every interview that I've done, I've talked to the interviewee about comfort zones and about them expanding theirs and what their journey looked like. But I'll add as well, my interviews have always been about a bigger subject, and then I've inserted questions about comfort zone. But for me, yes, it started really, I think, whenever I jumped on a stand-up stage, as you pointed out. And I jumped on the stand-up stage for the first time, and I had no business being on a stand-up stage. I was terrified of the idea of performing stand-up or speaking in public, and I proceeded to tell my first 2 jokes and bombed horribly. So that's kind of how it started at first.
And I love that because, I mean, who wouldn't bomb when you go on the stand-up? Because we don't know how hard it is. Any performing artist will tell you after they're a performing artist how much preparation you need, and you're going to just, come up with a funny joke and be able to deliver it and be able to have the right, mechanisms and all of that. And I love that you just kept on going because you figure it only goes up from here. I thought that was just the boss move.
Well, and so I told those 2 first jokes on that night, bombed horribly, and I will say one of the things that I kept with me the whole time is that the hardest part was stepping on the stage. So I already had done the hardest part, and I felt that while I was up there, at that point, it was probably the only chance I was ever going to jump onto a stage. In other words, if I jumped off and didn't continue that night, I may never have tried stand-up again in my life. So it's weird as it sounds. I recognize in the moment of sweating, literally covered in sweat, terrified, all the things going through your mind, I also realized you did the hard part, kid. Stay up on the stage, and whatever it turns out like and looks like, if you never get back on a stage, at least you'll know that you did it one night and you basically didn't tap out. So that was where my head was at.
Talk Universe, when you fall off the horse for the first time, you got to get right back up on the horse immediately and go ahead and ride another day. That's what we're talking about here. Now, as a little admin technical detail for my audio team, please clip this out. I am just a little paranoid about our Wi-Fi connection, Corey, so if you can actually go back to audio only, and I'm hoping that'll keep things a little thinner. You sound great, except just very slight hiccups, and I really want this to go well. So now we have a nice frozen view of you on the screen, which is great. Let me know you're still there.
I'm still here.
You're
you
still
hear
here?
Me?
Okay, yeah, we're great. Okay. Well, we're going to jump right back into it. So you get off that horse, you fall off the horse, get back on the horse, because there's all kinds of rewards on the other side. You already took most of your lump, most of your pain. Get back on the horse and make it work for you. And the other thing that I heard, Talk Universe, is the mindset of a champion. Don't be bringing a cloud along with you and thinking, hey, it's only going to get, I think this is bad. Man, it's going to get even worse from here on the stand-up stage. No, Corey thinks, hey, the worst is over. Now it's going to only get a little bit better or a lot better from here. Why did you see things as the glass half full, Corey, in such a negative, difficult, painful moment as that?
Well, the funny thing is, I've been asked this question a lot, and I'd love to have some sexy answer, Nathan, like saying that, you know what, at the end of the day, I'd love to say that it was all about, I was in that mind space of time, I had these great mentors that got me there and all these kind of things. But the truth is, the only thing I had in my background, I think, that maybe set me up a little bit for being able to stay on that stage is I had spent a lot of years in sales. Mm. So I've been in cold calls door to door in the office equipment industry selling photocopiers. It's not for the faint at heart, that business. And then on top of that, I had just finished running a stage play in a fringe festival. And one of the actors had sprained his ankle, and so I needed to fill in a part because he wasn't as fast as he would have been without the sprained ankle. And so now all of a sudden I had to write myself into a play I didn't want to be in. Like, I didn't want to be on the stage. I wanted to be the writer. And after doing that, I realized if I wanted to take my stuff to the stage and share my message with the world, I had to actually be on that platform and stick on there. So I think I had an internal motivator. So I'll say it this way. I think my desire to finish that set and to maybe get my message out there and to see if I could actually do that was bigger than my fear of not doing it.
Talk Universe, I am hearing so much of my own story in Corey's answers, all the way from the door-to-door sales piece, which I also, you didn't say you didn't like it, but it's not an easy thing to do at all. And also all the way to, if you want to make a difference, you can't be depending on other people. You can't be writing scripts for other people to shine on the stage. At some point, you've got to step out on the stage or start your podcast or whatever the thing is that is going to be your thing that's going to help you to truly shine. And as Corey has found, as I have found, you can shine at the same time that you help other people shine, which is a lot of fun too. Corey, how did you scale this up? That's my next question, because 4,000 interviews, you're thinking systems, you're thinking scaling. So how did that work for you? Don't tell me any trade secrets, because I will. I'm absolutely in a position to scrape those immediately. But I'm curious as to the backstory and the desire, because it seems like we were separated at birth here, buddy.
So, you know what? It's another one of those ones where I'd love to have this sexy trade secret answer or this thing that I can't reveal because you'll steal it. But here's the thing. It was really, we hear about grinding it out and hustling. It was really a lot of that. And so I'll explain what I mean. Where a lot of those interviews came into play was a business publication, aka a news publication, that I had for a number of years. So I had a publication for when I was maybe 19 for about a year where I interviewed people. And then I launched a similar publication in the, I guess, I want to say mid 2000s. I think it was 2007 and ran it until about 2012. And for that publication, which was monthly, we would have any given time, maybe 32 to 50 pages of interviews. And I was the one going out and doing all the interviews. I had freelance writers writing some of them, but I was the one that went and did the interviews. That was the part I was obsessed by. So when you start crunching the numbers and realize that almost 6 years.
Hey, Corey, you cut out for about 3 full seconds there. So when you crunch the numbers, if you can pick that back up.
Okay. And so when you crunch the numbers, and you start to realize that this person's interviewing 80 to 100 people a month, every month for 6 years, you start to see where those interviews add up quickly over 6 years. I guess 6 years isn't really that quickly, but that plus the year of doing the interviews early on, and then I had a book series, 5 books that came out, and each one of those I did 100 interviews roughly for them. So a lot of these interviews were before my show, and so a lot of times when people bring me on, they're like, "Wow, you've done 4,005, like now it's getting close to 5, but 4,000 interviews through your show. That's amazing." And then I always correct it because I don't want somebody to think, this guy's been doing daily show for whatever amount of years. But yeah, I'd say with the show itself, without going back and actually separating the two, I'd say it's probably closer to 1,000, not 4,000. But the 4,000 interviews have been done over the years, and like I say, a lot of it was through that publication.
Powerful stuff. I feel like I'm getting an inside treat here, folks, because I really am. We're talking with Corey Poirier. His talk is called How People Crush Fears and Expand Comfort Zone. That's just one of several TEDx talks that he has given. And we're going to be back with Corey Poirier in just a moment for the Blitz Round. And we're back with the Blitz Round with Corey Poirier. I'm about to ask Corey a series of either-or questions related to the preparation and performance of his recent talks. Corey, are you ready?
I have, absolutely.
First question, were you selected to speak or did you apply? And you can answer for this one or you can answer collectively.
I've had both happen. So I've had one where somebody reached out to me and said, "We really want you to apply." I've had one where I was nominated. I've had one where I nominated myself or whatever or applied. So I've had each experience.
So, and I should have asked this already because I don't really know. Have you given 2 branded TEDx talks or 3 or how many have you done?
I've done 3.
3. Okay. Well, great. Okay. Next question. Are you a memorizer, an improviser, or a blender?
I would say more so an improviser. But I feel that you have to know it. I always say this, you have to build it. You have to be able to build it before you can destroy it. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to know it well enough that then you can go off script.
For sure. And, after stand-up, anything's easy, but for these talks, do you still have nerves or are you in the zone or neither or both?
So I'm going to go with more the nerve thing. We had a gentleman on our show, Richard St. John. His TED Talk is 8 to be Great. It was delivered back in the old school, only main, when it was only the main TED conference. And he talks about how the clicker didn't work, so he just threw it to the side. And you can watch his talk. It's been viewed, I think, with all the views combined, close to 15 million times. And it's him pushing on a keyboard screen.
I love it.
TED stage.
We lost you again for, I thought that might be a pause, but that was like a 4-second gap. So you were talking about him clicking on the keyboard screen.
Okay. So yeah, and he was clicking on the keyboard screen and he was saying that's how old school this was. It was before the big prestige of the event. But saying that, he shared with me that every speaker he's interviewed, and he's done a lot of interviews too, or shared the stage with as well, at a TED conference, said the same thing to him, that it was the most nerve-wracking talk they've ever delivered. And like I said, I've delivered 3, and that's what almost every person backstage says, and what I felt as well. So I will say all 3 of them I had the nerves for, but I would say as each one, it gets a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but the nerves settle a little bit more. So each one was I was a little bit more calm than the previous one.
What's a tip, a technique, or a tool that helps you?
I would say, for me, the big one is storytelling. So when I say that, what I'm driving at is know your story. If you know the story, and I say the story could be the 5-minute talk or a 15, or it could be parts of your talk. Maybe you have 3 stories. But if you know the story well enough, then you're going to stay to time, and you're going to do your pauses well. To me, it's a matter of, if you know the story, it's a lot easier to remember.
What's a unexpected, strange, or just plain weird thing that happened during or right before any of your talks?
Wow. So I would say probably if I go with maybe I'll call it strange, but one of them, they hooked up the mic on me, and they had this big wire. I mean, and by the way, for people listening and wanting to know which one, if you go to my TEDx talk about what would you tell your younger self, you can see what I'm talking about, just so people see the visual. But basically, they put up a wire from the mic, and it comes out from behind, and it's like basically this thin wire, but you can see it enough, and it's like going way back out, like a hunchback almost behind me, and they sent me out like that. And so my whole talk's like that. The negative of that is you can hear a few static things in the video because of it. But that was unusual, to actually have this big hump coming out behind me.
Interesting visuals for sure. We've been enjoying the Blitz round with Corey Poirier. His talk has been titled "How People Crush Their Fears and Expand Comfort Zones." And you can either type that into YouTube and find it that way, or you can go to our show notes page at BeTheTalk.com. We will have a link that you can click right there and watch, as well as a link to be able to connect with Corey at thatspeakerguy.com, thatspeakerguy.com. And in a moment, we're going to be right back with Corey Poirier's final word of advice. And we're back with the final word of advice from Corey Poirier to us in Talk Universe.
Final word of advice from me, I have to say that, and this is in general, Nathan, but for a person, whether they're delivering a TEDx talk, whether you're delivering a talk, whether it's to do with your life in general, live on purpose. And so what I mean by that is that your TEDx talk should be about something that's purposeful to you, something you're passionate about. It should be something that you feel inside your core, because I believe everything you do, the stories you tell, everything you do is going to come through if you seem to actually feel this inside your bones. And I think that's going to happen most often when you're living on purpose in general in life, and when you're delivering with passion. So the big takeaway is live on purpose.
Corey Poirier, thanks so much for taking some time out to share your takeaways and wisdom with Talk Universe today.
It's been my absolute pleasure, Nathan. Thank you for all the work you're doing.
And that's a wrap, but we're still Facebook Live.
All right.
So this one gets the technology isn't cooperating very well today award so far. Now, I probably shouldn't say that, because I've got another, I think, 6 or 7 interviews. So I want this to receive the award for the month.
I'll actually I'll do a little prayer for you that it does receive the award for the month.
Well,
and hopefully, even though we're still live on Facebook right now, I'll ask you, hopefully you were able to cut the pieces where you figured to be able to be pieced together okay in the end.
Oh yeah. My audio guys, my Talk Ninjas will get on that. I have a primary one, then I have a backup one that really delights in the special, the specially difficult ones, which I would not include this in that category because it's a simple edit as opposed to just background noise or chirpy birds or, I mean, you've probably interviewed people and they have, it's like, are you outside? It's like spring. Is it spring in your part of the world? I hear birds and songbirds rejoicing, right? Are they on your shoulder? Are you cousins with Mary Poppins? It's like,
or are you a pirate?
Are you a pirate?
Which one? Mary Poppins' cousin or a pirate?
Or a pirate, yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, hey everybody, I've got a couple of good thumbs up here. If you have any questions for Corey after the fact, because we're about to go offline like old school fashion here, feel free to reach out. And thanks again for sharing Corey's message. It's a powerful message that we can all use. Take care, everybody.